afternoon. Welcome to the media news on Voice of the People Television. I'm Promise Enyi. Before beginning the news, we urge you to kindly visit our website on www.vop.ng to get trending stories. And now the headlines. Inec to provide supplementary electoral regulations. Mixed reactions trail Peter Obi's return bid. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed APC-led government. Transformation Learning Now, FG unveils $40 million ICT project to digitalize tertiary education. Senate adopts electric vehicle bill. Akeredolu vet probe sparks tension in Ondo State. And Nweforo condemns killing of 13 Ebonyi indigents in Anambra State. In business, Nigeria begins July with appreciation across markets. And in sports, Lookman enters Europe's elite scores list. In entertainment, Shay Vibes join list of Nigerian artists with over 1 billion Spotify streams. And now the news in details. Ahead of the 2027 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission is working on supplementary regulation and guidelines to clarify the review of declaration and return at elections. The Commission's chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has said. Yakubu disclosed this at a regular consultative meeting of President Electoral Commissioners on Tuesday in Abuja, stating that this is in line with the Commission's power to issue regulations, guidelines, and manual to give effect to the provision of Electoral Act. He explained that as the by-elections, the off-cycle governorship elections, and the 2027 general elections draws near, the Commission is concerned with various interpretations given to Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022 on the review of election results. According to Yakubu, as soon as the Commission takes a decision, the supplementary regulations and guidelines will be uploaded to its website and other platforms for public information. Therefore, he called on RECs to provide the Commission with information on their plans to enhance voter access to polling units by decongesting some areas. This, he said, include cleaning up of the voters' register, deepening their engagements with electoral stakeholders at state and local government levels, and managing the electoral logistics and election security. The Inter-Party Advisory Committee says it will be difficult for Northerners to believe the proposal by the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to run the president in 2027 and stay for a single term of 4 years if he wins. Obi had declared that he would comply with an agreement to be in office for 4 years if he wins the 2027 presidential election. However, the IPAC chairman, Yabagi Sani, said during a local television program that none of those planning to run for president in 2027, including Peter Obi, is a saint. He noted that the dynamics of the party become different when politicians get into office. According to Sani, going by the principle of rotation of power, the northern region should produce the country's president after an 8-year rule by the south. He explained that with humans, absolute power corrupts absolutely. He also added that Obi is not from a different planet. Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has confirmed he will run again in 2027. However, citizens have continued to express mixed reactions over this return bid and what it means for Nigerians' political future. UPCV's Matthew Ogunswada has more.
Party standard bearer in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has declared his intention to run again in 2027, assuring Nigerians of his commitment to serve a single term if elected. In a statement signed by his media aide, Ibrahim Umar, Obi reaffirmed his dedication to national unity, good governance, and an inclusive political process. He ruled out any joint presidential ticket, including speculations involving former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, but confirmed his openness to coalition talks aimed at tackling insecurity, reviving the economy, and lifting citizens out of poverty. Obi further pledged to restore national stability within 2 years of assuming office, emphasizing that if any coalition agreement requires him to serve only one term, he will honorably step down by May 28, 2031. As Voice of the People TV, we are on the street to get the opinion of Nigerians on this latest political move by Peter Obi.
I think it's not necessary for him to run now. Even if he's going to run, I would have wanted him to wait until after the current president, has finished his tenure. Because if he contests now, what happened last time might repeat itself. So if he's going to contest, it's going to be difficult for him to win again. But I would have preferred he still be in opposition side. But if he says he will use 4 years to fix Nigeria, I don't think that one will be possible.
The matcha that was here before, that we had 2023, if that matcha, if he can garnish that matcha and that belief system that people have on him, yes, he can win. But the figure at the quote at the top, the ruling party, how will he overcome those figures to win? But for me, 4 years might really not be enough for him to fix. But yeah, 4 years he can make a mark.
In politics, anybody who is ready or willing can go any time that he wanted to go. So you have the right and opportunity to go the second time, 2027. But the fact is, for him to go on that, if there is no coalition as per se, that already you say that he may not be able to collide with other party, but running alone. I don't think that him to run alone will be able to give him a flying as a party leader. But if there is a coalition, then I believe that he could be able to do well with others being him on the forefront.
As we've heard from citizens, reactions are mixed. While some applaud Peter Obi's renewed commitment, others remain cautious, especially regards coalition talks. However, one thing is clear: the road to 2027 election is already heating up, and it's left for Nigerians to decide who to vote for at the forthcoming polls. Matthew Oguswada, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
Many thanks to Matthew Ogunswada for that report. And now still talking politics, as the coalition meant to wrest power for the ruling All Progressive Congress gains momentum, the party has asserted that its standard bearer, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will emerge victorious in the 2027 election. APC spokesperson Bala Ibrahim described the coalition, whose leaders met in Abuja on Tuesday, as dead on arrival. Multiple sources within the coalition movement revealed their plans to adopt the African Democratic Congress as their political platform. This is as former Vice President Bola Atiku Abubakar, ex-Senate President David Mark, former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, and other figures within the People's Democratic Party labeled the ruling All Progressive a disaster to the nation. The statement signed by David Mark called on party members and Nigerians at large to support the emerging coalition aimed at defeating the APC in the 2027 presidential election. In addition to Atiku and Lamido, other PDP stalwarts present at the meeting include former PDP National Chairman Uche Secondus, former Governor Aminu Tambuwal for Sokoto State, Liel Imoke of Cross River, Babangida Aliyu of Niger State, and Dr. Sam Ego of Ebonyi State. And away from that report, the St. Lucia government has conferred on President Bola Tinubu the Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia in recognition of his efforts to strengthen the historic and cultural bonds between Africa and the Caribbean. His investiture was performed by the Governor General of the St. Lucia, Errol Charles, during the official reception for him in Monet Fortune. Tinubu expressed appreciation to the government and people of St. Lucia for the honor, saying he was humbled and that the recognition symbolizes a deepening of historic and cultural connections between Nigeria and St. Lucia. He pledged to strengthen the ties between Nigeria and member states of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. Tinubu described the experience as thrilling and exciting, commending the warmth and generosity of the people. Meanwhile, the conferment of the Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sparked criticism from the 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, who expressed concern over the timing. In a statement, Obi said that while the presidency celebrates international accolades, Nigerians continue to face killings and hardship at home. The opposition leader described the development as a reflection of a Nigeria more focused on titles and honors rather than addressing the plight of its citizens. And away from that, the federal government has unveiled a $40 million blueprint ICT development project aimed at digitalizing the transforming tertiary education in Nigeria. Unveiling the project in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Lauso, said the French Development Agency-funded project underscored a renewed national commitment to human capital development, digital transformation, and inclusive education. Lauso noted that the project, which will be implemented across 10 federal universities, is a strategic investment in the future of Nigerian education, adding that it is about building smart campuses, empowering smart people, and nurturing smart ideas. He explained that the initiative was designed to help universities digitize administrative system, develop hybrid and cross-border academic programs, and strengthen transnational education linkages. Intended to serve as a model for innovation and international cooperation, the minister said the project would also support libraries, enhance research management system, and integrate all participating institutions into the Nigerian research and education network. The Senate has taken a significant step towards promoting green mobility and local manufacturing with the adoption of Senator Joso Carlos Electric Vehicle Transition and Green Mobility Bill 2025. The bill, which passed its first reading, seeks to establish a comprehensive framework for Nigerians' transition to electric vehicles. Kano disclosed that the proposed legislation is designed to position Nigeria as a regional leader in clean energy transportation while boosting industrial capacity. As an aspect of the bill that can be considered one of its groundbreaking provisions is the strict local content requirement for foreign automakers. The bill stipulates that no foreign company will be permitted to import, sell, or distribute electric vehicles in Nigeria without partnering with a licensed Nigerian assembler. Automakers must establish assembly plant within 3 years of starting operations and reach at least 30% local sourcing of components by 2030. Any violation of these terms would attract stiff penalties, including suspension of operations and over 1 million naira fines. In another development, the House of Representatives is set to investigate Nigeria's outstanding debt of 1.2 million euros to the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States to its obligated as member states. According to reports, Nigeria has struggled to meet its financial obligations consistently, thereby hindering the organization's operations, the organizations, and the implementation of its development projects. In a notion on the matters of urgent national importance, the Deputy Chief Whip, Ibrahim Ishaka, said that Nigeria had benefited over 1.7 billion euros in development support through the OACPS European Union partnership since 2020. However, he lamented that in spite of Nigeria's substantial engagement with OACPS, including benefiting from development grants and investment funds through the previous OACPS EU Cotonou Agreement, its outstanding contributions remained unpaid. And moving on, the recent petition and calls on the Ondo State government to commence an investigation into the death of former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu have sparked tensions in the state. You may recall that Akeredolu died on December 27, 2023 in Germany after a protracted illness. After his death, Aiyedatiwa, who was the acting governor of the state at the time, was sworn in as substantive governor. Speaking on the call for a coroner's inquest into the late governor's death, the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress and former Minister of State for Transport, Ademola Adegoroye, on Tuesday cautioned the controversial ideas of the investigation. Adegoroye, in a statement titled, "All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient," warned the government against being used by some mischievous persons to make it start an unnecessary wildfire in the state. The former minister said he had received numerous calls by prominent individuals from within and outside the state since news broke about the plan of the government, as confirmed by the Justice Commissioner, and there would be a coroner's inquest into the death of the former governor. Adegoroye advised the Attorney General to investigate the intention of the petitioners, who may also actually plan to make Aiyedatiwa's administration look like it is simply out for a witch hunt. And from Ondo State, we'll move down to Ebonyi State, where the governor, Francis Nweforo, has condemned the gruesome killing of 13 Ebonyi indigents in Obuji community, Urumba South local government area of Anambra State. The victims were reportedly attacked during monthly town union meeting. In a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Monday Uzor, Governor Nweforo described the killing as senseless, barbaric, and an affront to peace, unity, and the sanctity of human lives. The governor said he has contacted his Anambra counterpart, Professor Charles Soludo, and called for a swift, thorough, and transparent investigation into the incidents. He stressed that the perpetrators must be brought to justice without delay, warning that any attempt to compromise the investigation could jeopardize the cordial relationship between these two states. Similarly, the Anambra state government has condemned the killing of 13 people in Ubuji community in Urumba South local government area. Some gunmen reportedly stormed the area in 2 SUVs on Monday and opened fire during a monthly meeting, killing several people and shooting into the air before fleeing. Well, joining us virtually to make sense of these stories is Comrade Shadrach Uduagbai, SA Youth Affairs to former Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us on the Midday News.
Yeah, good afternoon. The pleasure is mine. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. I'd like us to start from close home in Ondo State, where there is they are seeking a coroner's inquest for Akeredolu's death to be investigated, and this is sparking a lot of outrage and tensions now. According to a report of Akeredolu's death in 2023, he suffered quite protracted ailment from leukemia and prostate cancer. Do you think there was something fishy about his death?
You know, the relationship between a governor and a deputy governor is always fraught with mistrust, because the death or the death of the governor is seen as a blessing to the deputy governor who ascends the throne and becomes governor. So there's a level at which it can be trusted. But I strongly believe that the nature of death that took Akeredolu is one that people should allow the peace of the man, the man should go down, to allow the whole memory should go down. The idea of now wanting to dig the corpse, to carry out forensic investigations, to know as the cause of the death, is trying to rip out some missing wounds, because people just feel that the Aiyedatiwa's hand is in it and they want to see it as an opportunity to get back to him. But I see that as people who, to a large extent, do not understand the role of death in the hands and signs of time. So for me, I strongly believe there's nothing to look into. The man is great and done. There's no amount of investigation that's been done that will bring the man back to life. And for many persons who are looking in that direction, I see them as persons who are not willing to understand what it means to be alive, because death is what gives meaning to life. Even the Aiyedatiwa himself is not immune to it. So I see it as a political game. Is an attempt to also make the man look bad.
So you're seeing it as a witch hunt, some kind of witch hunt now?
No, I see that persons who are they're not necessarily witch hunting the man. They are sore losers. What would I say? They are aggrieved and not wanting to take the pains of death as what it is. So that's for me. I just feel they are grieving. Perhaps they were enjoying life when the man was alive, when he was in office, when he was in government. They benefited meritoriously from him. So seeing that the man has died and they are now in pains, maybe their financial fortunes have dwindled, they're not wanting to get a pound of flesh. So for me, there's nothing to come out of it. Even if you now complicate, okay, yes, the man's death was infected. It was sickness that killed him. You don't say the man was infected, was in, There's nothing to write home about. Even if you remove it, that you are someone else be governor, and he's certainly not a Akredolu. So they should let the matter let to it. There's nothing in it.
Before we move on to other stories, perhaps Akredolu, either to was grievance could be the way he was treated before he became the acting governor. We could remember when the man died, it took some kind of back and forth, giving him total authority and all of that. So some people are suggesting that this could be a way of him getting back to the man. We could remember last week that the memorial ground of those who were killed by terrorists in our state, in Ondo State, it was demolished. That's also sparked a lot of reaction. Is it some kind of trying to, is it cancel now or making significant the things that former late governor had laid before he died? And it still goes back to which one thing, if I could ask.
He also felt marginalized that the cabal of the former governor seemed not to be at home with him. And the best way to demolish them is to fight the man's legacy, to reduce the man, to cut him to size. And all of those things for me is not necessary. Even he himself is not going about it the right way. So I strongly believe that there's a need for everybody to just bury the past and move on. Because for us, a governor, the development of the people is sacrosanct. You have to focus on it and ensure that you improve the life and well-being of the people, irrespective of political platforms or who sits on the seat. That should be paramount. The idea of wanting to settle political grievances, wanting to get a pound's flesh is totally unnecessary. It's a major distraction, and the people unanimously should rise up to the occasion and reject it.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let's move on to the president now. St. Lucia conferring the 9th commander of the Order of St. Lucia on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This has sparked some kind of criticism, especially in the part of 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, who has expressed his concern and the timing. And he said that presidency celebrates international accolades and Nigerians continue to face killing and hardship at home. Do you think the president's priorities are not right at this point? I'm talking about security. We see people who are dying, especially in Benue State, Plateau State, some part of the Northeast and the Northwest. Lots of insecurity bedeviling the country. Are his priorities in the right places?
The priority of Mr. President has always been wrong from the onset.
How so?
The man has paid too much attention on politics to the extent that he had not completed the year in office. He started talking about the next general elections. And you see, what happens is this. I used to think perhaps Nigeria, or what democracy is, was designed that on the basis of what you have done, the promises you made, and the implementation of those promises is the base on which you will be judged whether to go for rerun or not. Not how well you're able to plant yourself into power, not how well you're able to push propaganda, or how well you're able to destroy the opposition to ensure or to muffle the voice of Nigeria, or how well you're able to ignore their problems. For me, the man's priority is greatly misplaced, because if he was truly, he had the interest of Nigerians at heart and not his own personal interest or the forces of APC or APC's interest as it now plays out, the man to a large extent would have paid more attention to development. And even the development trajectory that he has implemented, many of them have no bearing on reality. And they keep coming out with all false figures to say this is what the man has done, this is what the man has done, and this is Nigeria is so large, and that's why it's going to take time for to create hardship does not take time. To create poverty does not take time. To create hunger does not take time. Insecurity does not take time. But security takes time. To eradicate poverty takes time. To eradicate hunger takes time. Outbreak of disease does not take time. But to eradicate it takes time. So that's the fraudulent, mischievous, and dubious excuses that they continue to give us. And you know, when a man has failed at home, he knows nobody in Nigeria will honor him for anything meaningful if he's not political or partisan. So he now has to start going abroad, shopping from one window to another, looking for people who will honor him cheaply in order to boost his to have something good to say, or perhaps to boost the public image. But all those things won't count, because I don't remember any polling unit being in Lucia. No matter where the people, the government of Lucia trust, love, and appreciate Tinubu, it has no bearing on his current reality. Perhaps he wants to do that for public image, so that perhaps when the election comes in 2027 and there is fraught with irregularities, the Tasha will say, oh, the man has been a good man, he has been doing well, but all those ones won't count.
Does that even have any impact on, would that have an impact?
That's what politicians do. They just try to get glory, they try to look good, they try to appear nice at all costs, irrespective of what the reality is telling them.
All right,
so I know very soon
Okay.
Just start this thinking.
All right. Mr. Shadrach, still talking about St. Lucia now. The presidency has said they are pledging to strengthen the ties between Nigeria and member states, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, part of which St. Lucia is part of now. But the question is, St. Lucia is about 617 kilometers in size, and they are about 180,000 persons. They are not even up to a local government in a state in Nigeria. And I'm talking about their GDP. If you said part of the reason why you're traveling is to win investors and bolster business and economic policies, what are we going to gain from St. Lucia? A lot of people are asking, because Lagos State GDP is 10 times more than St. Lucia's GDP as a country. So what is the significance for us? What are we gaining? Between Nigeria and St. Lucia, who are the people gaining in these bilateral relationships at this moment? And we'll move over to coalition talks.
You see, what a governor, when a man is bereft of ideas, what a governor should be doing, a local government chairman should be doing, we find Tinubu doing it, because the man is looking for a way to appear good. What was St. Lucia? This is the first time I've heard that name in like 10, 15 years. After one of my cousins attended to travel to the Caribbean lands. Nobody is anywhere he wants to get cheap glory, he runs to. Sooner or later, you hear him collecting a chief justice title for us, or all sorts of country and name. There's nothing Nigeria has in tandem. We're not in the same league of nations where they have nothing to help us. They are not known for anything. There's no point of synergy. And I doubt if that country has an embassy in Nigeria. So on what basis are we going to be engaging? Nigeria doesn't have an ambassador to St. Lucia. Those things, there's no ties before now. It's just because it just felt that on what basis are they even honoring Tinubu? What did Tinubu do for them that made them honor him? What was the foundation to this honor? That's the question I want to ask. What was the foundation to it? Or this one, where we are now, what led to this destination? So for me, like I said earlier on, it's an attempt for Tinubu to spend more time abroad. It's Nigerian resources. It's spending in St. Lucia, moving around his entourage, flying in private jets, enjoying themselves. For them, it's just an orphan party. They go there, they enjoy themselves, they have a nice time, they party, they drink. It has no bearing on Nigeria, and certainly will not, no matter how it's been painted. And Nigerians are waiting for Tinubu in 2027.
All right, let's talk about coalition now, Mr. Shadrach. News we're getting now is saying that an Abuja hotel cancels booking for unveiling venue. Remember, there was supposed to be an unveiling venue for the ADC, the coalition, today. But they said that has been cancelled, and opposition politicians kicked. And Dele Momodu has something to say, because he was the one who posted it. He's saying that the sudden cancellation, has drawn sharp reactions and from opposition figures, which him, Dele Momodu, is alleging political interference. Is there a political undertone to cancelling of that venue? Is that a way of kind of attacking the opposition right now? We remember what has been happening in the Labour Party, different crises in PDP, and now it looks like PDP is some kind of, I'm not going to say it's dead, but there are lots of crises. And some people from that PDP, like David Mark, who has been appointed the chairman of the new coalition party, Arubeshola from APC, the secretary. Are you seeing a political, I'll say the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party's hand in the cancellation of this venue today?
The APC have not, they've not made it secrets in their lofty ambition to destroy the opposition in Nigeria. Even Tinubu has spoken that it gives him joy to see the party in disarray.
Opposition in disarray. But he denied yes, he denied being part of any crisis in opposition parties.
See, everybody spends money, invests time and effort in what gives them joy. That's the question you ask. Why will it take joy in the disarrayment of the opposition? When and I know that opposition is the conscience of democracy.
That could just be a political statement. It happens in politics.
That would have been a political statement if he didn't have Wike in his team.
Okay.
Perhaps he had not done people. He had not gone ahead to bring people who, to a large extent, ought to be members of the People's Democratic Party. He had not given fraudulent court judgments that had destroyed the soul of the opposition. Imagine in Kano State, the New Nigerian People Party gathered together and they said they are sacking, they are suspending the only governor they have. The Labour Party is not different. They practically kicked out Peter Obi from the party. There's no opposition party that contested with Tinubu today that is in good shape. It's not just the issue of the PDP.
Are you seeing ADC surviving till 2027 and taking over power from the All Progressive Congress?
No, what will happen in 2027 is that a new crop of leadership will emerge.
Okay.
This coalition may just keep drifting around, to and fro, but eventually it will come to a point where it will crescent into a unanimous appraisal by Nigerians. And it's not just being about APC and different political parties. It's going to be APC against one vibrant opposition. It's going to be APC against Nigerians. And at that point in time,
go ahead, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
So that's where it's going to, because they started this thing too early. If they had waited for parties to conduct primaries, they allowed parties to go through the natural processes, would have had so many oppositions that would further fracture the interests of Nigerians. But because from the onset, from the get-go, the man has invested so much resources, time and effort in destroying opposition parties, the opposition parties haven't destroyed them to the ground. We go and regroup and reposition under another veritable platform. And Nigerians who tried, of course, Nigerians saw what happened with the Labour Party movement, the Peter Obi movement. Sooner or later, even the resentment is even higher now. The pervasive hunger, the unemployment, the double-digit inflation, the cluelessness and ineptitude on the part of the Nigerian government is so high that you could be rest assured that there's nothing that they can do that will prevent Nigerians from coming together in 2027 and speaking in one voice. Okay. So what they are doing now, they are scattering the chickens, they are destroying the structures on ground. But certainly before 2027, you have about a year plus, the chickens will come home to roost. Okay. And Tinubu will discover that the strategy that adopted was a bad and poor strategy. Right, and they have played this card early, and Nigerians have seen him for who he truly is.
Okay. Mr. Shadrach, I asked that question because the APC spokesperson, Bala Ibrahim, has described the coalition as dead on arrival. So APC has this confidence that, look, no coalition, no matter the people or the quality of people in that coalition, would be able to unseat the president. That was why I asked.
And yes, you know, when they come out and they make such bogus statements, you just laugh. You have no reason but to laugh, because if the coalition was dead on arrival, I won't spend time publishing it on news, because that you got to know, because he spent money putting it on mainstream media in an attempt to. So when people say something is dead on arrival, they leave it to die. If something is not left to die, certainly it doesn't die. We know the plans they've been putting. Nigerians are not blind. We see the efforts they've been putting in place. I will know the quality of persons in the opposition, whether they like it or not. For the first time in a long while, people are really coming together genuinely and passionately. And what APC is saying now, they think they are growing, they are absorbing governors, people are defecting, but also know that the ants that wants to destroy the wood, we must go into the wood. So when the time is right, we know what he's trying to do to ensure that all the southern governors are his, and for the first time in a long while, we want to ensure that the votes that will come out from south, southeast, and southwest will be more than those that come from the north.
Because also the Enugu State Governor Peter Mbai is saying that all southeast governors may actually defect to APC because of the crisis in PDP.
They are juicy. No, it's not an issue of crisis. There are juicy offers that are being made to each of those governors.
What kind of offers exactly? You have any idea about these juicy offers?
Of course, they are financial inducements. Wow. There have been alleged allegations around that billions of naira will be deployed for 2027 election, and as many of them who could start with Tinubu, it's going to be a field day. And those governors, they are saying, what do I stand to lose? Of course, we know that as it stands today, the Independent National Electoral Commission has been totally compromised and emasculated. The securities of infrastructure of states, all the DSS, the police, the soldier, all of them are under the control of the presidency. Even the judiciary has been twisted and cornered. And so they're asking yourself, why stand against them? Why not go there and enjoy and have a few days? Since you can't be removed, they need you, they are begging you, they are lobbying you.
But
you go there and collect your check.
How will their people who elected them in different platforms, how will the people react? Are you seeing the people moving together with them or leaving them behind?
The showdown will come in 2027. That's the only way we can truly test. That's the only place the litmus test will be ascertained. Whether the people moved with them or they moved alone. Whether the people understood that they went for development or they went for their pecuniary purposes. So in 2027, they will get the shocker they never anticipated. They will get a market they never anticipated, never bought for, never priced for.
You think so?
So for me, yes, I know, I believe so, because if you put together people who voted for President Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you put together the votes from Atiku and the votes from Obi, you can see that it's far ahead of that of Tinubu. And that was the time people thought Tinubu had something good to offer. That was the time the South felt that, we need to stand together against Atiku and give votes to the South, and power must come out to the South, and this South and North mentality is being played. Now everybody knows power, it belongs to the South. And this is not me wanting to say I will see Peter Obi and see Tinubu. The South totally, he going to lose the advantage of being the only South candidate in the goes, and everything moves straight to the other side. So I will not know. We're no longer guessing that the man has nothing to offer. What is there is politics, not for governance, it's politics for politics' sake. So I want to see how best wants, because if you say APC members will vote for him, what are the fraction of members in Nigeria that are carry members of the APC? They're just a handful. So we'll see what will happen and how they tend to. Mind you, when you talk about rigging and manipulation of votes, there are conditions that makes it possible. No elections can be rigged.
What
It was
are those
possible
conditions? Do you mind to tell us those conditions?
You have to ring your area of strength, and when you say area of strength is local, because you have to be on ground. When you see these off scheduled elections that they are running, and you see that they come to Edo State, they ring Edo State, they go to Imo, they ring Imo, they go to that state. It's not possible when everybody is on the ballots.
But I'm sorry to cut you short there, Mr. Shedrack. We saw what happened in Rivers State. Even policemen that carrying ballot boxes. People were being intimidated in Rivers State. Which is an APC party, by the way.
I said you cannot ring in an area where you do not have strength. The principal men on ground in Rivers State, as led by Nyesom Wike, sold the conscience of the electoral affairs to Tinubu. He was able to ring in Rivers because Wike has dedicated himself to be used. So that's the calculation. He could have done that if Wike was working solidly for Atiku.
What if Rivers people truly voted for APC? Because APC has vehemently denied of rigging elections. Even the president had denied. Do you think, let's just say, Rivers people actually voted
Did they deny Edo States? Did they deny Edo States?
Okay. All right. You mentioned Peter Obi earlier. He's actually submitted his one-term proposal to the coalition for consideration. However, there is some problem. Some Northerners may have to differ with that, and they may not believe him quite, because the Inter-Party Advisory Committee now is saying that it will be difficult for Northerners to believe the proposal by Peter Obi to run for single presidency, as they are citing that he's like a normal Nigerian. He's not a saint, that it has never been in history. It's not in the like of Nigerians to just go for one term. Are you seeing the coalition giving Peter Obi just a one term?
Is the IPAC speaking? You know, Inter-Party Advisory Council is an offshoot of Inec. I was an Inter-Party Advisory Council. I was a state chairman of the Border Joint Party. It's just trying to echo the opinions of the presidency by saying that they should. That's what they would do. They will spread
mistrust.
But he's
also a Northerner. The person who made this statement is also a Northerner.
Has he done extensive consultation to know the voice and the opinions of the Northerners? Can a man run for 2 tenure without having first tenure first? Will Obi not first conclude the first tenure? We'll talk about second tenure. While you want to project on the man, and the man had come out, he was not forced, he was not cajoled. He had said it and it's on documents, it's on radio, it's on TV. And the man comes out of second tenure, you have freedom to vote for someone else. Or are we tying his hand?
You can also remember the zoning system now. Even though it is not constitutional, it's something peculiar that has been working for politicians over the years. So if Obi finishes first term,
when Atiku contested in the last 2020 election, when Atiku contested in the last 2020 election, did some Southerners not vote for him? This is when people begin to play politics of sentiment. Okay. You want to polarize the people. You want to divide north against south. You want to make it look as though this person does not have advantage, one has advantage. It's too petty. The man himself should wake up from his slumber. He should wake up. We have gone beyond that. Nigerians are bigger, better, we are wiser. The idea of saying ethnicity. Today, don't we have a president and vice president that are Muslim? Those things does not happen. The last time Pastor Osibajo was a vice president, can you point to me one thing that the Christians say they got because Yemi Osibajo was vice president? If it was not there, would have lost it. Those things are pedestrian sentiments. They are not real and they are not tangible. And Nigerians will not be making their decisions on the basis of such pedestrian decisions. Our decisions is based on those who have the requisite capacity to make meaningful and productive contribution to Nigerians and the Nigerian democracy. Will not fall for frivolities. So whatever they are peddling, whoever they give, whether they give it to an independent IPAC, they pay for the man airtime to go and to spew rubbish or to perhaps to say some half lies or outright true or half lies, and it won't work. Nigerians will fall for it. You should go back and tell paymasters Nigeria refuse to buy those lies. We'll vote for Peter B as long as he's able to secure the ticket of the party, and we'll work vehemently for him. because we know there is a turn of the South. We don't care about just
Comrade Shedrack, when you say people will vote, you believe Peter Obi is going to win the election come 2027. We see what happened, or we saw what happened in 2023. We saw the history and everything that took place, voter apathy, intimidation, and all of that. Do you not think those things would be doubled in 2027? Would he still stand a chance? In 30 seconds, let me get your concluding thoughts.
in the presence of all of that, how many votes did he score? The first time
about
Nigeria
12 million votes and thereabout.
So with all of those things, he got 12 million. The person who won, how many million did he get? How many million does Tinubu, Peter Obi now need to win? How many million persons do you think supported Tinubu but are not disenchanted with the level of poverty and hardship they've seen? How many persons do you think? You think it's only 200 people that are disenchanted with this government who previously had voted for Tinubu? You know, people who are supported him vehemently and today they are saying they are singing a new song. So listen to me. If you are not in this government, if you are not feeding directly from it, somebody from a family is not feeding from it, you are not affiliated to him with anything, that it's hard to see anything good from him. And I know those people who are feeding from them are in public domain, they have the resources and they are spreading rumors, and they are the ones who are trying to dissuade Nigeria so that they can continue to enjoy as against the collective patrimony. Nigerians are waiting for them. So there's nothing that will distract us. When Shomole came out about the man and said Peter Obi is only 5 people tweeting in their room, how many million votes did that 5 people tweet out for him? So let us leave those things. When we get to the election, we'll know whether Nigerians are awake or they are sleeping.
Thank you so much, Comrade Shedrack Ojugbai, for your thoughts and reaction on the media news. We sincerely appreciate your presence. That is where we'll draw the curtain on the analysis segment, sadly, because we're actually running out of time. Once again, many thanks. Comrade Shedrack Ojugbai is SA Youth Affairs to former Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. We'll bring you the rest of the news after a short break. Stay tuned. This is still the media TV. And now to the rest of the stories. The federal government is set to unveil a bold financing initiative known as the Africans for Africa Fund to mobilize capital within the continent for the development of Africa's mining and natural resource sector. The announcement was made on Tuesday in Abuja by the Minister of Solid Minerals and Development, Dele Alaki, during a briefing ahead of the 2025 African Natural Resource and Energy Investment Summit, scheduled on July 15th and 17th at the State House Conference in Abuja. Moving on, following a 6-month notice to stakeholders, the Lagos State government has begun the enforcement of single-use plastic ban. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, said this. Wahab told the media in Lagos that any company that fails to adhere to the ban would be prosecuted and sealed off, insisting that the state government would not succumb to any pressure or blackmail to consider another shift in date. He emphasized that the ban is expected to move the state towards reducing the quantum of waste generated in the state and a different landfill site. According to him, the government's decision to ban styrofoam food containers and single-use plastic of less than 40 microns is for the safety and well-being of the residents. Still in Lagos, reports say that Ojora of Ijora and Igamo Kingdom, Oba Abdul Fatai Uyegbemi, has dethroned 6 chiefs for attending the Labour Party's campaign flag-off at the Apapa area of the state. According to the monarch, the chiefs attended the political event without his consent and violated palace protocols by impersonating him there. The development followed a palace meeting on Monday where Oba Uyegbemi declared the chiefs' actions unacceptable. A statement on Tuesday noted that in view of the development, the Kabiyesi Ojora summoned the Baales and Balogun and the Ojora Council for clarification. The Oba reiterated that no chief should make decisions or act on his behalf without his explicit consent, as they all serve to represent him and uphold the traditions of the land. According to him, the action of detraining the 6 chiefs underscores his commitment to maintaining order and coherence within his leadership structure. He further stressed the need for transparency and collaboration between traditional authorities and their political representatives. Still in Lagos State, the Lagos State chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria has commended the Dangote refinery for its role in strengthening Nigeria's economy. In a statement released on Tuesday and signed by its chairman, Ibrahim Adigun, the council also commended the administration of President Bola Tinubu for creating policies and support industrial growth. According to Adigun, the council carried out a recent appraisal of the economy under the Tinubu administration, which was led by its Directorate of Petroleum and Solid Minerals under the leadership of Sheriff Lamidi. The council described the refinery as a pivotal milestone in Nigeria's industrial journey, praising its capacity to reduce fuel imports, boost foreign exchange reserves, and create jobs. The NYCN noted that the project is already reshaping Nigeria's economic landscape and strengthening local refining capacity and stimulating private sector confidence. We'll bring you business and sports stories after this break. Stay tuned. And now to business. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited said the Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline has crossed the River Niger, boasting the hope of its completion by fourth quarter of 2025. According to the NNPCL Chief Executive Officer Bashiru Ujulari, the feat was achieved through effective and innovative contracts, re-engineering, and industry collaboration. Ujulari said in his keynote speech at the 24th NOG Energy Week on Tuesday that for the first time in a long while, the nation enjoyed 100% crude oil pipeline availability throughout June 2025. And now to sports stories after this short break. And now to sports. Super Eagles forward Ademola Lookman has entered elite company with a record equaling performance in just one half of football. Lookman joins Chelsea's Cole Palmer and Atletico Madrid's Alexander Skoloth as the only players to register 4-goal contributions in a single half across Europe's top 5 leagues this season. The 27-year-old enjoyed a stellar champion campaign, with Atalanta scoring 20 goals and adding 7 assists in 40 appearances across competition. And now we'll go to entertainment stories, rounding off with that. And now rounding off with entertainment stories, Nigerian hitmaker Seyi Vibes has reached a major career milestone, surpassing 1 billion streams on Spotify. The achievement marks a high point for the Afrobeat star, who shot to fame in 2022 with his breakout single, Chance. Known for his consistent output, Seyi Vibes has released 7 solo projects and 1 compilation album in just 3 years, fueling his rapid rise in viral successes. And that's it on the media news, but before we go, let's take a quick look at the headlines. Inec to provide supplementary electoral regulations. Mixed reactions trails Peter Obi's return bid for 2027 presidential election. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed APC-led government. FG unveils $40 million ICT project to digitalize tertiary education. Senate adopts electric vehicle bill. Akeredolu's death probes sparks tension in Ondo State. And in Eboimiforo condemns killings of 13 indigents in Anambra State. And in business, Nigeria begins July with appreciation across the markets. In sports, we told you that Lookman enters Europe's elite scorers list. And finally, in entertainment, Shay Vibes joins list of Nigerian artists with over 1 billion Spotify streams. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Voice of the People TV and on all other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Coming up is Spotlight with Oyindamola Olukuton. Just stay tuned and promise, good afternoon.